Hi guys, it's Adria. So this video I wanted to make just to give you guys a little bit of inspiration, and this kind of came to me the other day and I don't really know what it was that made me think of this. I guess just the weather changing, it getting colder. I don't know, I mean, we're approaching Christmas, Thanksgiving just passed, Christmas is like sneaking up on us. So I guess I just kind of thought of this. I mean, ever since I've lived in Florida, I've just always had this chip on my shoulder about the weather here. And, you know, I'm like, there's no seasons here, there's nothing changes, it's the same as it was a year ago. You know, it feels like I'm just stuck in summertime, and I don't know what it was that had me so just mad at like the weather for not changing. And I'm one of those people that like, I don't like change. Like, change scares me. I like a routine. I like things to stay the same. I don't like things to like be abruptly interrupted. Like, if it just starts raining out of nowhere, like that just like kind of freaks me out. I'm just like, yeah. So I realized something. I realized that I don't like the weather here. I don't like Florida in general, because I know other states have the seasons change as well, but Pennsylvania is where I grew up. That's just my home state. That's where I grew up. You know, it would be summer, it would be hot, and I never really liked the summer very much besides having off from school. That's like really the only part I liked. But then my favorite season, fall, would come, and it felt so I don't know what it was. There was just something, like the mood changed, the air changed, it smelled different. There was just this mood that just came over me, and just everything was just so much better. And I just started thinking about that recently, and I think the reason why I loved the seasons changing and the temperatures changing and the leaves falling off and just everything is because it was just a reminder that life is constantly changing, that nothing is staying the same. And that goes for the weather, the seasons, you as a person, your friendships, your family, your job, your school. Like, nothing is permanent, nothing is staying the same, and nothing is guaranteed, you know? And I think once I realized that the other day, I was just like, it all makes sense now. That's why I like the seasons. And, you know, people who weren't raised in that, like Brandon, doesn't understand why I like the snow so much, why I like the cold so much. You learn to appreciate it, you know, when you have the heat of the summer and then the coolness of the fall comes and then you get the snow, and you have such an appreciation for it, and it's just a reminder that it's always changing, that nothing is staying the same. And I guess that was just such a good thing to look at, you know, if I was like depressed and then, you know, it would snow outside. It's just like, you know, a couple months ago it wasn't snowing and now it is. You feel like, you know, one minute you're dying of heat and you're sweating and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't take this heat anymore. And then before you know it, you're shoveling your driveway so you can go to work. So, I mean, it's learning to appreciate things in the moment, because then I learned to appreciate the heat of the summer. Even though I didn't like the summer, I hated summer. I absolutely hated it. And I'm still one of those people, I don't like the heat. I don't like being hot. You know, when you have 3 feet of snow, once you're in the summertime, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, remember when we were in that blizzard? Like, this is great compared to that. Then once the snow comes, it's like, oh my gosh, remember in the summer when we were like sticking to our lawn chairs because we were so sweaty? You get an appreciation for things like that. And I think that's what we need to learn to do, is just kind of appreciate things in the moment. You know, people think that being in snow sucks. It does suck if you look at it that way, but if you look at it as, you know, at least we're not sweating, at least we're not in the desert, at least we're not gagging. You could look at the fall as like, everything's dying. Why would you like the fall? Everything's dead, you know, the trees are dead, the leaves are falling off, because it's renewal. It's renewal, it's changing, it's just beautiful, it's just nature. And I don't know, I mean, maybe I just sound like a complete hippie in this video, but just seeing the world physically change is just such a beautiful thing, because it reminds you, hey, I'm not going to be in this situation forever. I remember a year, 2 years ago, there was this point in my life where I just, like, I could not see an end to it, and I was just so unhappy, like, and I felt like that was forever. I felt like I was just stuck there. And now I look back on that and I see some good things about that situation. Like, you see things from a different perspective once you're out of it. You know, like, once you're in the winter and you're in the snow, then you see the beauty of summer. And when you're in summer, you see the beauty of the snow. Like, does that make sense? So it's like learning to appreciate things in the moment. Like, hey, at least this isn't happening. And you know what? I'm not going to be in this situation forever. I mean, maybe you're at a place now where it's just like, wow, this really sucks. And I can relate. That's kind of like, I've kind of been going through this thing where I'm just not myself lately. I'm just like, I'm just like in this funk, and I need to just shake it off. I don't know what's happening. So years from now, I'm going to look back at this time of my life and be like, wow, like, that really wasn't so bad. You know, why didn't I just appreciate it in the time? Why didn't I just relax and enjoy myself and just look at all the beauty that is around me, all the things I do have? And I think that's what we need to learn to do, and just remind ourselves that life is changing every day. I mean, you do things like, and day by day, it seems like nothing is changing, but then you look back and you realize how drastically everything changed. That's how life is. You know, you can't see things change all at once. It's not like you wake up the next day and everything is completely different. Things start to change, and you just need to remind yourselves that life isn't permanent. Nothing's permanent. If you're in a bad situation now, it's gonna change. You know, it's not guaranteed to stay like that. You know, even when good things happen, it's like nothing stays the same forever. That's what I keep telling myself, is nothing stays the way it is forever. And it's such a refreshing thing to think about. Even just my YouTube channel, the people that watch me, like, that's changed drastically, even from just a year ago. Like, the amount of people and the support I have, like, it's just changing, and it's just, thank you guys so much. Like, you guys mean so much to me, and I know Thanksgiving just passed a few weeks back, but it's like, I'm so thankful that life changes, because if life didn't change, I wouldn't have you guys. You know, if I had never gone out on a limb and started a YouTube channel, I wouldn't have the amount of support and love and friends and supporters that I have now. And, you know, that's why change is just so good. It's just really such a good thing. I'm so grateful for the amount of people I've been able to reach over YouTube, and just thank you guys. You know, it's like, hey, I've had a crappy day, but you know what? This is just one day in my life, and it's not going to be like this forever. Like, maybe there's a person in your life that you're forced to come in contact with every day. They're not always going to be there. You're not always going to have to be around them. You're not going to stay in that same place forever, and that's just what I remind myself. And I think that it's, you know, once we can learn to do that, just know that life is changing, that we'll learn to be more content with our lives in the present moment, and just embrace things, just embrace everything. That's why I love the rain so much. You know, some people think that the rain is just awful and everything like that, and it's just, you know, because I think back to when I'm outside and it's so hot and I'm just dying of heat and everything is just dried, all the plants are just look like they need water, and it's just, that's why you appreciate things like the rain. You know, you just learn to appreciate things because you can think of a time when that's what you wanted. You know what I mean? I don't know. Did this video make any kind of sense? Did anybody get any kind of thing out of this? I don't know, but learning to be grateful for things, whether it's good or bad. I mean, if you can learn something from it, take something out of it, you're gonna look back and appreciate it one day. I can guarantee you, know, I look back on things even that were bad at the time. I look back and I'm glad that that happened, because it made me appreciate things so much more now. I don't think you can really have a good day until you've had a horrible day. You know, like, what even is having a great day unless you've had a horrible day? So I guess just learning to be grateful for things that you have in the moment, and learning to deal with them, and just knowing that one day everything will be different. You'll live a completely different life. Like, we're just changing all the time. I mean, don't our cells, like, completely, I think it's something like we shed every single one of our cells and we're like a completely new body. Like, I think it's like every like 7 years, something like that. So it's like you mentally and physically are not the same person that you were like 10 years ago. You're a completely different person. All the stuff that happened to you that maybe you know, think about a lot and it's just like, oh my gosh, that's depressing, that's horrible. You're physically and mentally not that person anymore. And that's a really good way to look at things. It's just like, hey, you know, I'm not that person, and you don't have to be that person. You know, things are changing. Things are always going to be changing. As long as the leaves keep falling off the trees, as long as snow keeps coming, as long as summer happens, as long as it rains, life is always changing, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to think about, and change is good. I used to think that change was horrible. I used to be terrified of change. I used to just cringe at the thought of changing my everyday routine. I was just in this rut, and as soon as I learned to embrace change, it just makes your life so much easier. So, I don't know. I hope you guys got something out of this. I don't know. I mean, it's just stuff I've been thinking about, just like some food for thought. So, I thought maybe I would make a video. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Was any of it, you know, helpful in any way? I don't know. But, I will see you guys again real soon. Until then, panda hugs. I love you guys. Bye!